I'm Mark Hendricks, and I work at Educational Media at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I'm here on behalf of the Nebraska Broadband Initiative to talk about remote video and remote sensing, and to give you some examples of remote video and sensing for the small business. Why use remote video or remote sensing? Remote video and remote sensing can help you secure and manage more tasks with greater efficiency. The ability to check a temperature, see a green light, or hear a fan running from a distance can help you to decide whether you need to go physically to the site or you can delay. Other reasons to use remote video and sensing is you can secure assets from remote locations. You can monitor processes and functions. You can monitor temperatures or other conditions, which is particularly important for IT people. You can monitor supplies, reducing unnecessary trips. And you can monitor location of your family members and other employees. Another reason to use remote video and sensing is it has become a lot less expensive and it's becoming a lot easier to set up. So let's get started. One example I'm going to go through today is iCam application. And it's available at the Apple App Store for $4.99. iCam can monitor multiple cameras and will send you a text if motion is detected. It will also record motion events. And like I said, I like iCam because it's mobile and I can take it with me. So I have iCam set up in several of my closets, but in this particular example I'm using an old laptop. I got a $13 camera, USB camera with some USB or LED lights around it, and I have it pointed at a $5 thermometer in a basement room. So the laptop's running iCam source software, which is part of the iCam kind of suite of software. And one reason I like to use laptops is because they have a battery, and so if I have a power fluctuation in the closet, I won't lose my laptop, won't go offline. I will get my message from iCam, and it doesn't have to be plugged into a UPS. So here's a screenshot from iCam, and this is what you see when you usually launch the app. There's 4 windows. I think you can have 8, depending on how many cameras you have going. Anyway, this is room 5A. I'm running, and as you can see, it's my $5 thermometer says it's 64 degrees. I got these lovely green lights from my LEDs. And if I double tap on this screen, it will enlarge it, and I actually will get the audio from this room too. So not only do I know what time it is, what the temperature is, where it is, and what the date is, but I can also hear white noise. Or, for example, if I had a bad hard drive in one of my RAIDs, I would hear a beep. This is some of the settings I can configure in iCam. One is I can choose whether or not to record the motion events. I can send myself a push notification or an SMS text saying, hey, you know, something's moving in your room. I can adjust the motion sensitivity. Also, here's an example of a recorded motion event, and you can see this is one of one on the 11th of February 2014 at 9:33 in the morning. As you can see, it's a little bit lighter. I believe someone's probably in the room doing some maintenance or whatever. And you can also see down there in the lower left-hand corner the option I could save this picture to my camera roll. And this is just another screenshot example showing all the different motion events, how they're archived. So iCam's a good example of a remote camera and motion sensing app. And it's very cheap to get into. Like I said, I have an old laptop and a $5 app. The next thing we're going to look at is slightly different. It's called Wemo, and it's a product of a family of programmable devices Belkin makes. And one of these devices even has a motion sensor trigger with it. So this is kind of what it looks like, or how the devices look. This is a couple of different outlets, and basically you plug these plugs into your outlets, and then these outlets are connected to your home Wi-Fi network. And this is right off their website. You can follow this link at the bottom if you want to read this, but their story is, and I'll read it real quick, Wemo is a family of simple, ingenious products that make your life easier, simpler, and better. Wemo uses your Wi-Fi network and mobile internet to control your home electronics right from your smartphone. Wemo also works with IFT, connecting your home electronics to a whole world of online apps. So let's talk a little bit about this IFT. And IFT is a service that enables users to connect different web applications, for example, Facebook, Evernote, Weather, Dropbox, together through some simple conditional statements known as recipes. And these conditional statements are how this service gets its name. If this, then that, IFT. IFT was developed by Lyndon Tibbetts and launched in 2010. So the implications of IFT is, say I have weather attached to one of my Belkin devices, and say the weather channel says it's 20 degrees, that may trigger a device in my Belkin home network or office network to turn on a light or turn on a space heater or something like that. So back to Belkin Wemo a little bit. Their product line is, like I said, a light switch, a couple of outlet switches. There's a motion triggered outlet. So they're all programmable on or off. They're motion triggered on or off if you have the motion device. And you can remotely, via your phone, trigger them. So if you leave the house and you think you left all the lights on, you could look it up on your smartphone and turn it off. Or you can configure them to change their configuration remotely. And once again, the IFT allows for social media scripting, which I think has some potential that we haven't quite developed yet. Anyway, Belkin is partnering with these different appliance companies, so you should probably see more and more of this kind of stuff in the future, but like Crock-Pot, Mr. Coffee, Home, Sunbeam. So, for example, you could take one of these Belkin-enabled devices, and maybe it's a Belkin-enabled Crock-Pot, and that you know that instead of turning itself on at a certain time, it might wait for a certain amount of, like, 2 people to cross the threshold of your home before it starts cooking or turning itself up hot to make itself ready for the meal. I also could think of some really strange things you could do with crock pots and Facebook and stuff like that. You know, you could post that Mark's making chili in his crock pot or something and it would automatically post to Facebook. Okay, so Belkin Wemo, like I said, and there's other home automation sensing hardware and software, but it's worth looking at because the motion detector and the programmable lighting control can save you money really quick. Just by turning lights on and off when people aren't in the room, that could save quite a bit of money. And I think one study, the University of Boston did this on just one building. It saved them up to $15,000 a year. And they were doing stuff like measuring the amount of sunlight in the room and adjusting the lights accordingly. So they weren't actually turning the lights all the way off or on, but they were making them brighter and dimmer based on the amount of light in the room. And so optimizing their use of light. So we've looked at these 2 examples. Let's now look at a third example, and we're going to look at a company called Axis, and it is the leading network camera company, and it's a good place to start looking if you're looking at security cameras or web cameras. And this is from their website. They say they're the market leader and the driving force behind the shift from analog to digital video and video surveillance. And they offer a lot of network solutions for professional installations and just web cameras and stuff like that. These are examples of several of the cameras they have. There's several hundred models, I believe, online, but you can see their outdoor cameras, their thermal cameras, PZTs, pan, zoom, tilt camera, They have some real, that's a HD, high HD camera, and that's a little black one is a covert camera for places where you want to do video surveillance. So one cool thing about Axis is they develop and partners with other vendors to write motion detection software, people counting software, smoke detecting software, software that tracks things, software that tells you when things cross the line or intrude on your property, whatever, and other kinds of software. And you can get a pretty good list of these products right here at this web address. So to summarize, we looked at 3 different examples of technology that's used for remote sensing and remote video. And these are definitely some lower end solutions, but hopefully I can give you some ideas on what you could do to implement these kinds of technologies in your business and how you could use them to save money in your applications.